This is how I do my contour. So first off, make sure you're using a primer. This is All Nighter by Urban Decay. I already put mine on before my eyeshadow, so I'm gonna skip that part in this video. Next, you're gonna grab your contour stick. You can either use like a cream contour, like one of these, or you can use a stick, like one of these. I prefer this because it's quick and easy. I can just grab it in the morning, throw it on my face, and it's done. So how I'm going to do this, I'm going to apply it to the areas on my face that I want to kind of minimize. So if you have more of an angled chin, you're going to want to apply it to the bottom of your chin and around the side just a little bit. Basically, you're slimming down your chin so it's not as noticeable. If you have a little cleft in your chin, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to do this, but you still can do it. You just have to be paying attention to which areas you're kind of bringing back into your face with shadow or with like a dark color, and which areas you're raising outwards with a light color. Like you wouldn't want to just throw a highlighter all across your chin because that's going to highlight all of the areas, including the areas that are coming out. You might want to actually throw a little bit more contour on those protruding areas. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move on to our forehead. I like to throw a little bit on the top of my forehead, just around here, just to kind of make my face look a little bit smaller. I'm going to even that up on the other side. And last but not least, you're going to want to throw a little bit just coming down. If you follow your cheekbone, it's like, ooh, I want a little bit too low actually. I want to be more up here towards that second line. Do that on the other side. But this is going to make your cheeks kind of look more full and rounded. But then again, so you're going to want to do this based on your face shape. So my cheekbones are sitting like this, but your cheekbones may sit differently. But the point is you're trying to basically make your cheeks look fuller by bringing a contrast under them, if that makes sense. Next thing we're going to do is blend, blend, blend. These are my two favorite blending brushes. This one's more for detail areas. This one's more for like facial contouring. This one's a little bit dirty right now though, so I'm just going to be using this brush. Remember, with your cheek, you're always going to want to blend outwards towards the edge of your face. So I know I was doing a little bit of back and forth at the start, and you can when you're just getting started, but really you want to blend it towards the edge. I got a little bit lazy. Don't copy me. Sometimes I had a little bit too much back there, and I wanted to bring it a little bit forward, which is why I did it that time, just to match the other side. You can already see my cheeks look a lot fuller, and I haven't even touched any highlighter yet. We're going to be doing contour and highlight in this video, because they go hand in hand. Make sure you're connecting it across the front of your forehead. Otherwise, it'll kind of look like you have like a pointed head a little bit, which is not what you want to go for. And make sure you're coming down just a little bit right here, not too much. Here, just enough to make it look a little bit more rounded. Give it your shading. You're making anything you're putting a dark color to, you're making it look deeper. Anything you're bringing highlight to, you're bringing forward. So it's really useful to know what you're doing. Yeah, so that's some basic contour. I'm going to work on some highlighter now. So one thing, I did all of this before I do my foundation. And you can do it where you mix it with your foundation, you can do it after your foundation. The only thing you can't do is put on a powder and then put on another cream on top of the powder. So once you've put on blush, once you've put on, a setting spray or setting powder, or once you put on like a powdered foundation, you cannot put any cream contours or highlights on top of that. It will look very cakey. So I haven't been using this as much, but this is the Too Faced Shape Tape Concealer in Swan. Sorry, not Shape Tape, Born This Way. Too Faced Born This Way, Shape Tape is Tart. But it's in Swan. It's normally a little bit too light for me during the summer, but since it's winter, I figured might as well break it back out. So this is going to be applied to the inner corners of the eye, to the very bridge of the nose, and the very tip of the chin, unless you have a cleft chin, and then you're only going to want to apply it like between the cleft on your chin. You're going to want to make sure you don't go into the other raised areas that you're trying to minimize. Got a little dot there, a little dot on your forehead. I like to do an upside down triangle. It kind of just helps everything settle into the direction that it wants to. In nature, downward facing triangles are traditionally more feminine, and upward facing triangles are traditionally more masculine. So even when you're talking about facial structure, you'll see a lot more areas that do downward facing triangles and a more feminine face. So if you're trying to feminize your face, we're going to mimic that. There are plenty of different people who do makeup though, and what you are going for may be completely different than what I'm going for, and that is completely valid. I'm just not very experienced with doing masculine makeup, so I'm going to leave that to other people who are way better at it than I am. Once again, this is rounding those cheeks, and it's bringing out the nose and the forehead to kind of make your face look a little bit rounder. I think it makes a huge difference already. You can tell. I need a little bit more on my right cheek right here. I think the left side got a little bit more. You want to make sure that your face is even on both sides with your highlight. It's really important. You can also go up and down your nose a little bit, but you don't want to go too far out to the side. I'm actually going to throw on one more layer of contour. So I'm only doing this because I did this before my foundation, and I want it to stand out a little bit more on my chin where I have a little bit more display. So I do a double layer on that area. After that, you're just going to do your foundation like normal, and I'm going to fast forward through that. If you want, you can even throw a fourth layer of contour on top of the, or third layer of contour on top of the foundation once it's set. Or you can do setting powder, and then you can do some powdered contour on top of that. But we're going to throw on some highlighter that is sparkly now. So I like to do this on top of my foundation because otherwise the sparkle kind of gets lost under the foundation. And you're just going to apply that in the exact same areas that you applied the other highlighter. So next we're using a setting powder, and then we're going to apply some powdered contour over that so I can show you what it's like. Make sure you're using a clear setting powder for this, because otherwise your makeup or your contour is kind of just going to go away when you do that. Also make sure that we're baking our setting spray or setting powder for at least like 5 to 10 minutes between this next step if you're going to do a setting powder. After you're done baking, make sure you dust off any excess powder. Finally, we're going to come in with our last layer of contour and then some blush. So they have a bunch of like powdered bronzers and powdered contours, but honestly I just use eyeshadow and it works out fine for me. So, you know, as long as it's safe for the body part that you're putting on, who cares? And you like the results. I'm going to come in with a like medium top, like a wheat colored, not too dark. We already did a lot of our darker contour, so this is just kind of bringing out what's already there a little bit. I normally don't do powdered contour on top of my cream contour, which is why I haven't invested in, you know, a powdered contour regimen yet. But on those days that I want to do a little bit extra, it's nice. It does add a little bit of a nice soft glow. I think it is noticeable. You can also come in on your nose, on the sides. But make sure you're going kind of out towards the edge. If you go straight down, it's gonna just like make your nose kind of look weird, and it's actually gonna emphasize the wideness a little bit more. Last but not least, we're gonna come in with some blush. This is a Powerpuff Girls Fighting Crime shade from ColourPop. You're gonna put this right on top of the bronzer, between the highlighter and the bronzer. I also like to come up the side of my head personally. Makes it look more rounded. You can see more about that in my blush video if you're curious. That's how you contour. And here's the final look.